Stop buying AI tools, learn the communication first. Today we're going over the complete blueprint on prompt engineering to the business owners who want to acquire this specific skill for their own or for their business needs, and who commonly faced kind of these problems. Getting unreliable garbage out from AI that costs you hours of editing. Seeing other people or competitors using AI and being overwhelmed with all the stuff, apps, techniques, and etc. happening out there on the web. Tinkering with AI and the result, solving the task by yourself again, when instead you could be doing those 20% of tasks that are really moving your business forward. Hi guys, my name is Anna, and I just spent 40-ish hours, about 2 weeks, figuring out what actually works in prompt engineering so you can learn the best parts in just 30 minutes to 40 minutes without all the trial and error I went through. I'm just sharing here what I learned, all my knowledge and expertise, of course, wrapping it all up in a digestible piece of information for you guys. And so all the information you're going to get today is based on the real and proven PE information and techniques, so feel absolutely free to check all the links down below with the links to the researches from Google, OpenAI, Prompt Hub, I think, Nightfall.ai, and etc. that are supporting all of this info. So I know that you're busy guys, so I'll do my best to not waste your time and address it with the most understanding for you. Okay, so let me introduce you to prompt engineering. So here's a brief walkover what you're getting by the end of this video, just following along. Clear 6-part repeatable blueprint on how to write prompts that create those ultimate employees each time that produce business-ready outcomes from the first time. See clear examples and gain a practical understanding of how to start with saving time and effort by letting AI handle all the heavy lifting of repetitive tasks, while you stay focused on more leveraging part of your business. A PDF link with all the stuff, templates, and instructions written for you. Actually, feel free to grab it right now and to follow along if you want to, or make notes. Feel absolutely free. And for the ones who will stick to the end, there's also an extra bonus. Okay guys, so let's give it a shot and let's take a look. I want to just show you something interesting. Here's my prompt to AI to give me recommendations on AI automation agency just like a few weeks ago, just before I started learning the prompt engineering. So basically it looks like this. Hi chat, you're an AI automation agency founder with a lot of experience in the industry. You need to give me a list of proven frameworks that can help with starting out and developing in the future. Type confidently and human-like, include bullet points of everything that you'll list. Stay professional. And so I think this one reminds us all of something. That's a casual, average prompt that all of us are usually giving out to AI and expecting some cool results. But here's the thing. Those problems in the beginning that you saw, they basically address all of the outputs we usually get from AI when we give him some prompts like this. So when we're giving him some prompts and you know it by yourself, AI do not have enough information, enough data, and etc. a system to give you the right output. So that's basically why we get the garbage out. Just a little walk over here. And so just to show you what could you get to know how to do by the end of this video with just a little bit of practice. Here's my most recent prompt, 8 days since I started learning PE. I think something like 8 days. And here we can see the actual parts of it. We're going to go over each of today. And yeah, and that's all of the one prompt. And I think this prompt was on getting AI to give me the specific niches or business ideas for 2025. I'm not sure for it and for the next decades. But okay, you can see the difference, right? It was just 8 days. 8. I've been practicing a lot, but you're absolutely, of course, going to learn how to do the same thing for your tasks. So let's give it a shot, guys. Let's keep it frank. And this blueprint has 6 core sections, which we're going to go over. Each one is interconnected between themselves and has their own meaning, both for you and for AI. So let's move to our first section, the role section. And so I know that for most of people, this section does not make sense. For me, it did not make sense as well. I had never understood why we are using this, why are we passing those roles to AI, and I've been writing something like, you are a professional marketer, or you are a professional plumber, you know what I'm saying. And so This is sounds almost too simple, telling the AI what role to play, but this section is really playing like big role in our prompt, and here's the clear whys for you why you should try this out. A. Helps to generalize more niche and expert level content, executing specifically to your business in your niche, no matter how narrow it is. So this section gives us the ability to address for AI our niche, no matter how narrow it is, no matter like how really deep it is. For example, B2B business who serves the plumbing businesses with over 25K per month, you know what I'm saying. If you have a really narrow niche, here's your chance to address it and to get AI to understand why are you passing him this exact task, and that's why we're going to go more over it. B. Sets clear tone and expectation for AI's response. You don't get a workforce to do your task, but a personal assistant that understands your needs. C. Ensures that AI will be responding in a specific way, not changing the point of view throughout the communication. I think we all face something like this when you're talking to AI, you're passing him the inputs, the messages, the tasks, and as you're talking to him, he starts changing how is he responding to you from one point of view, his viewing your task, how he's executing it. We want to address it completely in this section, and we're going to do it. Okay, D. Gives you an advantage to set specific expertise, traits, or skills you want AI to have, especially when your task will imply work with humans or human-created content, so it can be more client-oriented in a way you need your output to be. F. By setting the role in the beginning of your prompt, AI connects the role with the task more tightly and enhances the task execution, which is basically our primary goal, to get the most accuracy and professionalism, I'll say, from AI. Okay, guys. So, if you're still not persuaded on this section, I absolutely get it. Here's the deal. Skip this one for now. Go straight to the task section because it's basically our main one, and give it a shot. Just see how it interconnects with the role sections and other sections, and come back whenever you feel confident to. Deal? Okay. So, if you guys prefer to stay and to go by plan, so let's take a look at these two inputs and two outputs. So what we've done here is, here I pass to AI a task, and here we have this tiny little itty-bitty role. You're an AI business consultant. All right, this is how we usually pass the role to AI, like no judgment, I just told you I've been doing the same. And we have absolutely the same task here. It's a marketing task, yeah. And so, as you can see here, create one page, market research, value proposition, etc., etc., etc. And so here's two outputs AI gave me by passing him these two prompts. So here's the first one where we get like those tiny role. Market entry plan, eco-friendly bottled water brand, market research, key trends, market competitions, value proposition, etc. You can see how it looks. And now here's the output he gave me to the prompt without a role. Market entry plan, market research, competitors, trends, value proposition, etc. And I thought, as you've been looking at the slide, you already see this one. If you see no difference, it's absolutely okay. Me too, because there's no difference in it. And what I want to address here before we go to our template, how to use the role section. If you pass to AI those tiny role, put it like this. It sounds to AI like you're hiring him and telling, like, as a marketer. And you're telling him you do marketing stuff for our company. And you do not give him any other information what he should do. Here's basically how giving this tiny role looks for AI. So it's just useless and it doesn't make a sense. And of course, no judgment, we're going to learn how to address it. So here's a template for you, how correctly you can be using this role section, and your task is just filling the gaps. So you're a specific role with exact years of experience in your industry, who specializes in advantage skill and has a track record of precise result. So let's break it down each of this. Specific role. Here's one is easy put. Here we just set occupation and professional field for AI. Exact years of experience. As we're going to go further, you will see that in my prompts I always use this one, and I think this is basically like a good stuff, because here, imagine that you are passing a role to AI that sounds like you are a plumber with 1 year of experience. And then imagine you're passing him a role, you are a plumber with 10 years of experience or 100 years of experience. You got what I'm saying here. And so it really does make the difference for AI. If it just adds some more imaginary for us, it adds real experience and professionalism for AI. So this one is just my recommendation for you to use. In your industry, here is your clear chance to address your niche, as I said in the beginning. So here, no matter how narrow your niche is, just put it like this, so AI is specializing in it. So just list all your niche. You're going to see further how to do that. Just list all your niche and just say that AI is really experienced and like cool bros in it. You get what I'm saying. So we got AI more precisely into what we expect from him with our next section, with our task section. Okay, who specializes in advantageous skill? This one is just you list 2 to 3 of this who create a desired persona to him to act from. So, for example, who specializes in creating a quality pivoted content for YouTube? Who specializes in creating the best offers, but the best niched offers for X customer? Who specializes in something different? You got a point. Just tell him what is his professional field as well, but also you can be listing him some traits here. You can see further what I'm talking about. And has a track record of precise result. Actually, when I was doing the script for this video, I just figured it out. I had never used this one in my own prompts, but I think it's pretty fire, because what you do here is it's good to pretend that AI had already have some experience on executing like the same task as we're going to task him further. And so I really believe that this one adds like even more professionalism to AI. So just tinker with it, try it out if you want to, stay creative with this one. Okay. And so guys, if you're feeling stuck with, for example, you're having some sophisticated task and you're feeling stuck with assigning those professional field to AI, or like whatever his occupation or his advantageous skills, here's a question for you to consider. If walking backward from a task you want AI to perform, who would be the best person who performed it the best? So everything. His professional field, his occupation, his skills, what did he study for, his life to get those skills, his personality, like you got a point. Everything, just try walking backward from that, and I really believe that may be helping you. Okay, so here's some real prompt examples. This is all like pieces of my own prompts of using this framework, those templates I've been just showing you. So as you can see here, you are a skilled AI automation business owner and expert in developing your personal brand through YouTube with years of experience. So just a really long sentence, but basically as you can see here, I pass him his professional field, his role, his occupation, and then I immediately hop to the expert in developing your personal brand through YouTube. This one is, I think, yeah, it's basically the advantageous skill, like just an example for you. With years of experience. This one, I'm going to make it blue. This one is addressing those part with years of experience. So this is how like your role section may be looking. And this one is actually already good, but then we go further and we list something like, you have a knack in mentorship, producing valuable quality content, etc., and packing information digestible during your script to attract leads for your business and create a long-term strategy for it. Just like I think really good example of role section. Like people sometimes like go even further with it and they list like even like more sophisticated and huge role, but for some of your tasks, especially in the beginning, this one is fire. Just use it as an example for you. Okay, and so like second and third one are basically the same. So as you can see here, I address those things with years like in a specific number, 10 plus years, as I said here before. And actually, I love to include in my own prompts, just a little pro tip for you in my own prompts. I don't know why, but I like really love to include this thing with, you have a knack, or you have a skill, or you have a talent. So just straightly listing him what is he proficient, or I want to say talented in. So you have a knack, you have a perfectly developed skills of etc., and you have a knack. As you can see here, they're really common. Okay, So this was our role section, guys, and I tried to make it short and sweet, just to list all the main important you should know, but this section just answers to AI the question who I am. Who I am, what am I doing, in what spaces, fields I have a proficiency in, and how does it exactly helps to the task I'm going to perform. That's all. So yeah, the template is going to be in a PDF down below, and feel free to use it or take a screen or take a note, like whatever you want. And so yeah, let's hop to our next section, the task section. So this one is, as you can assume, is the backbone, the most important part, I think, but all the parts are important, but okay. This one is really important for our prompt to address correctly, because here's what we basically tell AI to do. And let's immediately start here from something interesting. Use the salad recipe framework. So let me explain it to you. So imagine that you need AI to prompt to cook a salad. And now think of a difference between these two ways to give AI the task to prepare a salad. So just take a look at this one. Make a delicious chef-like fruit salad with different fruits and berries that tastes very good and everyone will like, etc. Pretty casual, average, generic prompt. That's what we usually do. Okay, and here's what we can be doing now with the salad recipe framework. Make a fruit salad. Pick a big and ripe green apple. Wash the apple thoroughly. Cut the green apple professionally. Cut a banana, put it into a ready bowl, take the plain yogurt. You got a point. The basic thing we're doing here, as you can see, we're breaking it into steps. Into steps that are understandable for AI, like a mini tasks. And this one is especially important when you have some sophisticated task. Like, try to do your really best to break your task into smaller chunks. That's thought you should like be holding in your head when listing this. And if you want to dive in further, this one is a like really big field. This is called chain of thought prompting, this technique. Also, all evidence is in the link down below. And so you just try this out. Here's it's a like really good one for you to use. And here's how we can implement a salad recipe framework in action. So here's the template for you. Break your task into a step-by-step guide. I just said that. The more complex the task is, the more essential the guidance is. Begin each step from a verb. This one is big. I wanted to put a star here. Okay, so let's take a look at it. As you can see here, each and every of my step is starting out from a verb. Basically, pick a bigger dry green apple. Wash the apple. Wash, cut, put, take. Every and each one of this is a verb. And this one is just makes much more sense to AI when you're listing him your task. It's not like some strict rule, but it's basically making it much more easier for him to understand what do you want from him. Like that. Okay, always try to use easy language. This one is just please hold in your head all the time you are writing your prompt. Like, no matter if your task is easy, complex, niched, broad, whatever, always try to use easy language. So imagine that AI is a 5-year-old kid, and you're explaining to him how to do something. And a 5-year-old kid doesn't know those hard and like complex business terms and all this stuff. Of course, like you shouldn't like make it so easy like you're really explaining it to baby. You just do not really overcomplicate your prompt with some difficult things and words, especially to understand for AI. It will make the execution of your task much more accurate, I'll say it like this, if you are given more accurate explanations to AI. Include the format, how exactly the task or some parts of it must be performed. This one is actually, we're going to come back a lot throughout the video to this. This one is called output formatting. Yeah, right. And so what you do here is just tell AI how your output should look in its best form. We'll take a look at this more in our blueprint. And so We could be writing before the sales recipe framework, create a long-term marketing strategy for my business, make a proven funnel, be accurate and use only proven frameworks for my industry. A click marketer, etc. And what we can be doing now. Develop a lead generation strategy by following these steps. Step 1, analyze target audience. Step 2, identify the 3 most effective channels. Step 3, create a messaging. 4, design a conversion funnel. 5, recommend trackable metrics. This is a really easy and not complicated example for you how you can be using this. In your prompt, of course, you should probably better go like more descriptive with your steps, but for the sake of demonstration, like this one is really good. And so here's some pro tips for you from my own experience on this section. Pro tip: I usually make the tasks a bit more descriptive. I already said that to make sure that AI outputs it to me in a desired format. Pro tip: keep the tasks between 3 and 7. If more AI starts losing it, if less, it's not enough context for him. Pro tip number 3: you can assign variables in your prompt to make it reusable and more universal, just for your own convenience. So as you can see here, variables is this thing. Give me a second. Okay. Variables is this blue square bracket thing. And so if you ever had any experience with Python, you may be understanding this one, but if not, you're absolutely cool and okay. Give me a second. So variable is a box, and oh my god, this is so bad. Okay, variable is a box in which you can put some content and then put it out. For example, your industry, any industry. Plumbing, marketing, coding, coding, AI, cooking, like whatever it can be. And so you include these variables in your prompts just to make them more comfortable for you. Just the next time, press Ctrl+C, Ctrl+V, and just don't write it all over again. And so when you're starting out, don't really complicate your prompts with that, complicate yourself, do not go too hard in this. You can not even include this once in your first prompts, do not really care about it. But as you will go further in your next prompts, you will see that sometimes it can be your tasks may be similar, and it will be really cool if you have just those little templates, especially for you. Okay, so let's take a look at real prompt examples of using the solid recipe framework. For the sake of demonstration, for you to understand, this is my own prompts. And so create a list with a description for each AI business model for 2025. Include a description, a jump right into strategy, include AI apps to successful entrepreneurs, finish up with a set of links and sources. As you can see here, I just don't know why my markdown isn't here, but okay. This is step 1, 2, 3, and 4. So this is pretty straightforward and I think really understandable for you example, how to use the solid recipe framework. As you can see here, I'm going a bit more descriptive in my steps, but and also sometimes I also include the output formatting here in my own tasks as well. So yeah, here's an example for you, and here's the second one. Use the user me, talk to user, second one, and lean on. Here's just the 3 steps, but as you can see, they're really, I want to say sophisticated, but descriptive. And this one was a prompt on increasing my own skills on prompt engineering. This one looks a bit not understanding, but that's okay. All right, here's what's our task section. So in this section, we answer to the question of AI, what should I be doing? How is my role? How the role you passed to me is connecting with the task? How is it contributing to it? And etc. Just try to stay crisp and detailed here. Just a little thought for you to hold in your head. Okay, so I think this section was my important when writing the script, when I was describing it, because in this section you can let yourself be dramatic. And basically what it's talking about, it's pretty straightforward. In this section we just list all the most important requirements for AI, or the specific things you consider for AI crucial to know about, regardless of the execution of the task. But from here it's interesting. Stick with me. So I think most of us saw Sergey Brin. So he was a co-founder of Google in 1995, and it doesn't matter. He's a billionaire now, and he's working on Gemini at Google at AI-based projects. And so he had an interview where he said this quote: "All AI models tend to do better if you threaten them with physical violence." And so threatening is not a joke anymore. And well, we cannot be threatening, but adding emotion-based phrases, which we're going to go over in a minute, that's insane those emotional part of AI. And so, as I've been saying that you can be dramatic here, let me introduce you to emotional stimuli. So emotional stimuli is specific phrases, words, or sentences that contain some dramatic or emotional meaning which influences AI's behavior. And so why does this work? How is it working? Let me illustrate it to you. So I'll be drawing here. Yeah, I like this one. Okay. So as we all know, AI is being trained on all human-generated content. And basically all human-generated content is really, really full of tons of human sappy, whiny emotions and lots of human factor. And so what's interesting here, when AI is getting taught on this, he starts analyzing how emotions are influencing people. And over time, he starts fabricating, I think, how those emotions are influencing us, and also they start influencing him. And so this all happens basically because he's like watching and creating those connections of how people respond to those emotions. And so what I want to immediately address here, what I want to avoid in this section. So want to avoid writing something tiny and token wasting like it's important, make it professional. But in short, it is just going to give you the same output, the same output we had as an example in the role section, for example. It will be just useless. And so, or going completely overboard and writing like a whole dramatic essay. You don't need that as well. I'll explain more why we use emotional stimuli specifically in this section. So we need a sweet spot. Okay. So here's a template for you. You could be using in your specific section. And so this one is pretty straightforward, and I don't really think that you need like some template here, but here's just like a guide for you. Specific, important constraint, number 1. Number 2, emotional tone, professional, origin-friendly, specific phrases. This is basically our emotional stimuli. Technical requirement, length or format specification. This one is actually, these two are also output formatting. Okay. So, here's a few examples from before we go further into the specific phrases, how emotional stimuli can be looking like just future phrases for you in your prompts. Just take a look at how it can be included in real prompt. So here's my specific section. I do not remember what prompt was it, but as you can see here, I have constraint number 1, 2, and as we can search here, here's I think like this one is basically a whole emotional stimuli by its own. As you can see here, your execution on this task directly determines if the apprenticeship segment on the planet is going to become more efficient, better, and correlated with AI. This all is an emotional stimuli. We urge AI to execute on our task with more accountability and with more, I think, like reason. I can't remember the word. And so here's a like really simple example for you. I think maybe I went like too further with emotional stimuli here, but just for you to take a look. And so second one, I'll immediately like search for emotional stimuli here. Okay, here's one is an encouraging type of emotional stimuli. Don't be hesitant to explore your own mechanisms and systems of your own prediction line thinking, all in to list all demands, and etc. So this is a pretty good example of emotional stimuli, encouraging him to work better. Okay. So yeah, here's some examples for you, and here's some specific phrases or words you could be using. Just if you want to save it to yourself, or all of this are actually going to be in PDF as well, so you can just copy paste. Okay, Three types: encouraging, words like vital, important, urgent, crucial, or phrases like take pride in your work, your commitment to excellence sets you apart, you constantly learn, and you know that you're best in this endeavor, etc. Threatening, fully depends on, directly contributes, implies a risk, massive impact, decides a fate, etc. And performance driven. This one I also want to say that it's like also an output formatting. It's like pivot and accuracy in the execution, in your output, make it clear so a 5-year-old can understand, value the customer of like your only lifelong priority. So here's just a few bunch of examples for you. Feel free to use. And here's my pro tip from my expertise in this section. List critical environments for AI in this section that are vital for execution and mix them up. I wanted to exaggerate this one. Mix them up with emotional stimuli to emphasize even more. So here's, as we're wrapping up this section, here's the main reason why are we including those emotion-based phrases, aka emotional stimuli. Because with them, we are emphasizing some critical points and requirements for AI to remember about our task. And so, of course, we want AI to remember those. But as we're going to list, to go further in the notes section, this is section number 6, AI for the reason of lost in the middle effect, we're going to go more over it, lost some important information from the middle of your prompt. In our specific section is our middle. And so sometimes AI can lose or mix up those critical requirements. And so to reduce the probability that he does that, we just emphasized our critical requirements basically with emotional stimuli. And so why I'm addressing this, because in the template I've been showing you, these ones are separated. I don't know why, but these ones are separated and it looks like emotional stimuli goes like separated with them. But just mix them up. Okay guys, now we're going over to our section number 4, the context section. And so this one is, I don't want to say complicated, but it's actually interesting because it's really filled with lots of backbone things. And so here's my promise to you on this section. I'll try to address as much as I can what it does for you, what is this thing, and why is it crucial, how does it really works for your business, and how do you do it. And so, deal? Let's go. So, let's start it like this. Think of regular AI like hiring a smart consultant who's never seen your industry, who's never seen your business, your customers, or any of the data on your business. And so context section turns AI into your personal business advisor, like he's been co-founding your business with you. And so let's look under the hood here to address this section with more understanding for you. The backbone of your context section is a big techy thing called RAG, Retrieval Augmented Generation. I'll explain you how I understood it because, for example, at nightfall.ai, you can take a look at a pretty good and pretty fine, pretty nice full guide on what is RAG and how to use it if you're interested. The link is down below. But I'll just explain you how I understand how RAG works, and then I'll understand you why we were just breaking it down. So, step 1, you feed the system all your business knowledge. Your processes, your industry data, your specific information, documents about your employees, balance sheets, like whatever you want AI to know. Step number 2, the system breaks this knowledge into chunks and stores them in a way AI can instantly search through. Step 3, when you ask a question, the system finds the most relevant pieces of the knowledge that match what you're asking about. Step number 4, instead of just sending your question to AI, the system automatically attaches relevant knowledge to your prompt. So what is happening here, and basically these 2 steps, when you're sending to AI, imagine like this, when you're sending to AI a prompt and you're not using the RAG system, like for example for your own LLM model, when you're not using it and for example you're asking AI, how can I improve my this year revenue or KPI, like whatever you want, depending on the last year. And so if you're not using that, of course AI will say, like, I know no shit about your business and I know like anything about your revenue, about your data. But if you're using RAG, he will be able to retrieve those chunks and answer to you. Like, depending on the RAM you had the last year, we can do A, B, C, D. Like, you got a point. And so this is basically what the RAG system does. It just retrieves this information and attaches to your prompt. You don't see it actually, as I got it, and sends this prompt to LLM. And so then you can be working from that. And so now, why I was even explaining it to you. So RAG works with embedded models, numerical vectors, LangChain, and etc., like all the hot stuff, and context just needs the right communication from you. And so basically our context section is a section, like if really short put, is a section about the background of your business and the background of your task that are going to help AI execute more accurately, professionally, and dive more deep, I want to say, in the execution, the performance on your task. And so as you got the point, RAG is something that, like, it costs money and all this stuff, but RAG is basic backbone thing on which the context is built. So in context, we just list those in words. In RAG, we upload all our documents and those important information like straight to LLM, to large language model. And so our context section like is really helping AI to execute, and you will see like in the further examples why is it so. And here's the template for you to use. And so I wanted to exaggerate on this. I'll take blue one. Use it as a guide, not a set of rules. Because as I just said, your context section is your background. And I do not know what task are you going to pass AI. How are you going to use this blueprint? Our tasks are different for every like human being on this planet, or the tasks are different, and the constraints are different too. And sometimes you want for AI to know like the only things on, for example, if it's a task, for example, some customer oriented, then you need AI to know your audience and impact. And if it's some like task where AI maybe needs to know the obstacles you're listing, like to help you on improving your business strategy or whatever you want to put it. And so you can list any of this, but okay, let's go over it and I'll just explain for you what I think about this. So what you can list is situation. Define the exact circumstances, background, or conditions under which the task is basically being done. Objective. Describe the AI the best outcome or what success would look like in this case. I think this one is also performative, but okay. Obstacles. List the barriers, risks, or limitations that AI should keep in mind. Role and responsibility. I'll take it in green. Role and responsibility. Clarify the perspective, function, or ES role in a task once again. Audience and impact, tone and drive, etc. Actually, this one is basically the emotional stimuli. You can absolutely feel free to include emotional stimuli in your context section as well. And okay, I've highlighted this in a beautiful green color because these three are just my genuine recommendation for you. They're not like crucial so you just, if you do not include them, your prompt breaks. But it's my like own recommendation for you to use them in your prompt, because this one is basically answer this question for AI. How do I link those role which you gave me, basically we gave AI in our role section, how do I link those to the task, to the context section, and how am I from those role contributing to your business or the execution of your task. So it's basically what it addresses. And we also remind AI of the role. As I already said, AI can sometimes forget the things, and it's really good to remind AI of those roles. You're going to see it in an example. Okay, also a good one is to list audience and impact here, but it's also like variable if you want to, if you don't want to, it's just your own preference. But especially if you're working with some customer oriented task, always try to list for AI what is your audience, like what is your target audience, what is your targeted customer, what is their portrait, what they want, what their needs, like not all of those things, Of course, keep it crisp, as I already said that, but this may be really important for AI to understand in which route of his execution are you going to. Okay, tone and drive. Insert some emotional stimuli again, like basic thing. You're going to see this one's like more in the examples. So here's the examples. And here you can see it's just a simple, small task. Create social media posts for a vegan restaurant in Seattle which targets the health-conscious millennials. A pretty simple task, nothing complex, and here's the output AI gave me on this one. So we have an idea for Instagram post, Instagram reel, Twitter, Facebook. Like they're like quick ideas. They're like you can go further from it, but still I think like 70% of work you will need to be doing by yourself. Did AI give you some thoughts? Maybe some like implication what you can insert in those ideas? Yeah. Did it make anything for you? I don't think so. And so now let's take a look at how this exact task will look with the context section. And so don't jump off, don't be scared, because I know it looks like really intimidating, but I think I've gone like maybe too further with this one. But what I did is just filled in the gaps in our template. And so just to remind you, here's our template: situation, objective, obstacles, role, audience, emotional stimuli. So here's it. A new vegan restaurant has recently opened in Seattle is the situation, the background. Aiming to stand out in the city, the restaurant is launching a social media campaign to attract its first wave of customers, the background. The goal is to create our goal as obstacles, our risks, limitations, obstacles, act as a creative social media strategist who knows both marketing and cultural trends. Here is a pretty straightforward for you example how to remind AI of his role. If we gave him a role of creative social media strategist or someone who is really advanced in creating and writing the qualitative content for people, here we remind him. And the thing on target audience, and here's it's actually like not really standing out like that, but it's an emotional stimuli. Posts must feel vibrant, fresh, and inspiring, sparking curiosity, trust, and excitement that compels people to visit and share. This is an example of emotional stimuli for you. And so here's the output. As you can see here, like the difference like is huge. And so I don't want to say that AI like made some incredible work comparing to those that we had in the before, but as we can see here, we have like pretty good ideas and basically the scripts what we can be doing in those posts. And so just you can take a look by yourself. I'm not going to read all this, of course. We have like 7 pretty good ideas here, scripts, and it's also much more deeper dives in our background. Like for example, imagine that you're listing in your content how much this exact task, for example, would differentiate if you list to AI that our restaurant in Seattle opened like last week. And then you list to him our restaurant in Seattle is targeting our core audience because we have those audience for like a few years already, and our restaurant is a profitable big restaurant. You know what I'm saying. And so context section like really helps with the execution. Like my own word on this. Okay, the beautiful part of context section. You're not teaching AI any new information. I think it's just like summarization. You're giving it your information so it stops guessing what you need and starts delivering what you actually need. And so I think we already like done pretty good job on these 4 sections we've gone through. Getting rid of those problems with getting garbage out from AI. Generic, vague, and not our niche. Like I think, yeah, like put it into our industry and our niche. And we're pretty good at addressing all that. And so we do not fine tune AI, we just educate him. And so all you need is just to fill in the gaps in the template I've been just showing you. Okay guys, and so let's move on to our power section, the example section. Oh, this one is actually interesting. And so by myself, I had never used this one. I had never tried. because I had never had those understanding of how are people including those examples to AI and how does it help. So I'll just break it down to you so you avoid those skipping out the section, because it's actually really, really important. We're going to have like a little graph in this one, and you will see like how does it really influences that. Okay, so lots of people skip this section altogether and then don't judge it at all. I haven't seen any importance in it as well before I started writing some more complex prompts, more complex tasks. So choice is always yours when you're really working on some sophisticated task with AI, or you want to set clear expectations or restrictions. Do not skimp those 10 good minutes on writing some qualitative examples. And here's why. So I want to address it like this in a really easy example. What is happening in AI when you start having the prompt is a 3-step cycle. Let's look over it. Analyze, answer, and adapt. First one, analyze. You give it examples, it analyzes them. I'll take a pen here. Second, it gives you the response. Third, it learns from the response. This is where we're doubling down. How is it happening? How is AI learning from the response, and how do you benefit from this? And so I had like also some tough time wrapping my head around this, because the backbone of it, how it's originally called, is future prompting and future learning. All the links are down below, check it out, and just let me explain for you how I understand this one and how it helps you. And so when we send a prompt to AI, it analyzes it all, like all our sections, and is in a sequence, like a whole big text. And so then it also analyzes like specifically those input-output pairs, aka our examples, few short examples from the name of the basic like technique. Context of an input, he analyzes how are each section in your prompt interconnected between themselves, like your role and your context section, or his role and the task section, or examples and all of the other sections. And here's actually why I included this one here. And so it creates new patterns and new relationships. And so what he does then, AI in result applies those new adapted relationships to your next inputs he's never seen before. It applies more accurately and adjusts much more to the specific output, task performance requirements you want to see from him. And so all that you've done is wrote a couple of 2-line 5-minute examples. We'll hop on them just in a second. And so let's take a look at those little graph. So if you like, let me put it like this, like really easy for you to understand what example section does. It's just giving AI a chance to like clearly determine, understand, and state for himself how he should be responding. And this one is also a lot addressing the accuracy and how aimed is he on the direct execution, what you need from him, from your task. Because AI, of course, can be interpreted it in different ways. And so it really starts like, irritating you when AI starts like responding not in the way you want him to respond, or he starts like doing some like weird stuff, and those things. An example section, like as you can see here from this graph, by x-axis we have number of examples in the context, and by y-axis we have accuracy. And so just to address it, here's 0, 10 in the 0 power is 1, and 10 in the first power is 10. And so let's just take a look, as I've been talking before, at this drastic, sharp improvement in AI's performance when we give just one simple example to him, just one. And so this is the part we're the most targeted for. And so as we go further, you can see here that if you list more examples, of course, there's also improvement as well. And it's pretty like decent. But if you're giving him just one example, it's jumping, it's screaming, it's very happy. And so I'll jump to my pro tips here. Stay between 3 to 10 examples. Because as you can see here, more than 10 will just will just not really make sense any from him. And 3 to 10 is a pretty good number, and like I'm usually listing like 3 to 4, I think 3 to 5 maximum, but I had never listed like 5 examples like that. But I had some experience seeing the prompts where people like list about 7 examples, 10 examples, and you're absolutely okay with using those. And to summarize, with examples, you immerse AI even more into your case, the right completion of your task. Plus, there's over 15 to 25% increase in accuracy. So we get to our final goal, receiving a qualitative response and the best execution. So let's go to examples here. Here's the really easy examples for you how you can implement in this one. It's the first variation, and just to get it understandable, no, not like this. Here's what you include in your prompt, like not this one. And so here's our first variation. Topic, customer feedback, classification. Example 1. Input, the delivery was fast and the product quality exceeded my expectations. Output, satisfied customer. Example 2. The item arrived damaged and I couldn't reach customer support. Output, dissatisfied customer. Pretty easy to understand. When you have some classification task like that, this is a pretty straightforward example for you. Second variation, expense categorization for business. Input, payment to Uber for airport transfer. Output, travel expense. Input, purchase of new laptops for the development team. Output, equipment expense. Pretty straightforward for AI how he should be reacting to your task or the next inputs you're going to give him, or if you're building some application like these ones are for him to use. But also in your example section, these ones I just written for the demonstration sake. But your examples, your input output pairs, this is what we've been talking about, they can be much more bigger. And so imagine that you're having a task where AI is writing responses to the emails, for example, and in input you're absolutely free to put a full-blown email, and then in output a full-blown response from AI, how he should be responding to that. So your example section also be creative with that. I really think that prompt engineering, it's really based on one system, but you can go all in your creativity, or all in how niche your task is, whatever you want, you just do it really to increase his performance. And so here's a few more pro tips. Pro tip number 1, in this very cases, you can ask AI in notes to notify if he's not sure. Oh, this one is really interesting, really big. So let's take a look at this. Imagine that you're having an input, the delivery was fast, but the item arrived damaged. And you're an AI, and how you should be reacting to those, what you should be doing, how to classify that, you don't know, because you don't have those instructions. And so it's important to address for AI what he should be doing, and usually in my own prompts, I just include little note section, note I write, and oh my god, it's so bad. Then I just say AI if you're not sure and which classification to put the input, write not sure, classificate not sure, or classificate not determined. Easy prompt like that. Okay, pro tip number 3, create a library, notes, document, whatever works for you, and save your example templates there. This one is the same as I've been saying in the task section. Yeah, in the task section, just for your own convenience. Do or not do, just your own preference. Pro tip number 4, use triple backticks at the beginning and the end of your example paragraph. Oh, this one is interesting. So in coding, triple backticks are basically going back from a coding, and so coders include these ones to separate specific chunks of information for the PC, for him to I don't wanna to say that I'm pretty sure about this, but for the PC to separate those information and to have an ability to process it separately from each other, and to not mix it all up. And so this is basically what we're doing with AI in our prompt. You can include your triple backticks here, and for example here, and in the end. This is the usual example. And so actually you can also be including your triple backticks in your context section on the beginning and the end of it. This one is also really good, but also your preference. Okay, so yeah, this was our example section, and I really hope you got it. I really hope like you understood, and I'll just remind you if you want like to dive more deep into it. It's not that sophisticated and hard to understand. And as I said, it's called few-shot prompting and few-shot learning. So if you're interested, feel free to check out. Okay, so here's our section number 6, the notes section. Okay, I've been talking about this in the video. Here we're addressing the lost in the middle effect. So what is that? Let's take a look at this graph. As you can see here, by x-axis, we have position of the document we answer. Just think it's the position of your section, the information in your section. Y-axis, accuracy. As you can see here, in each and every of this graph, we have a U-shaped model here. And so at the beginning of your prompt, AI, this is like the main reason we include their role and the task section in the beginning of our prompt, to include the most important ones because they are in the beginning. So it's the less probability that he forgets about them or mix them up. And then like he has those unfortunate big drastic like down here. But basically here are our specific and context section, just to remind you, specific and context section. And here we have some improvement here. And so our notes section is to remind AI, if putting it like in one sentence, is to remind AI of the critical points and requirements we had in our context and specific section. This is all. And so if you're feeling lost and not sure what to include, remind him, think like this. If delete 85% of your prompt, what would I 100% retain? Your answer will be your note section. Just put it like this. Okay, so here's a few examples for you for my own prompts. I'll just immediately jump to pro tips here because I have a pro tip here: include negative prompting and format prompting. This is our output formatting, as I've been saying before. Something like do not do X, your output must be in Y format. And so just take a look. Here I have negative prompting, do not include price. Negative prompting number 2, do not use vague guidance, only proven principles. And negative prompting number 3, do not provide explanations, reasoning, or phrase task itself. Examples of negative prompting. Or the output formatting, stay maximally human-like, rely on the action result, not feeling. And I think like I have like pretty more output formattings here, but just to not overcomplicate it, just you can take a look, like take a pause here and just take a look what specific reminders you can be listing in your notes section if you're feeling stuck. Okay. And now actually in the notes section, as we are reminded AI of the keynotes, what you can be using, right? Your emotional stimuli. And so you can be using something like take a deep breath and carefully go over each step in the task. Or make sure to include XYZ, perceive the user me as something extra. Just also include emotional stimuli here. And so guys, I have a little gift for you here. Bonus section, markdown. This is going to be quick and sweet. So this one is not proven. There's no proven research on this. But I saw on Twitter a guy who retrieved a prompt from OpenAI system. Is the system prompt to ChatGPT and to DALL-E 3 system prompt. So as you can see here, this things little hashtags and slashes. This is basically the markdown we are usually using for our prompts, and it looks much more making sense for you and for AI as well. And so here's how I am using this, and you can like make it even more different, like whatever is more comfortable for you. For hashtags are include for meaningful tiny notes in the beginning or the end. I think I've included some prompts that I've listed those tiny notes, but doesn't matter. As you remember in our example section, when I told you about those notes that were given to AI in case he doesn't know how to respond to the input, this one is a really good example of that. slashes to identify the section start. And for example, like you see here, 2 slashes are the task section because it's a second section, specifics 3, notes 6. You got the point, pretty straightforward. And so here's a pro tip for you. Usually when I know that I'm writing an important or complicated prompt, I'm using them to write in some external app and then copy and paste to AI. This one may be useful for you for the sake of using italics and bolts. This one is really good way to mark down your prompt as well and to exaggerate some important information for AI. Of course, it's not proven, it's only your preference, but just check it out. Take a look at how it works in your own prompt. Okay, so if you're still, guys, doubting about prompt engineering after all of this we've been through, I'm so grateful if you're still here. Here's the quote for you to consider. Would you rather spend 1 hour tops writing a good prompt once, or spend 4 hours per day on a consistent basis for the same very task that the AI could be doing for you? Just let it sink in. Okay, guys, so if you're still here, thank you. Genuinely, I appreciate you so much. Thank you for being here. Like, it means like world for me. Thank you so much. And yeah, check out the PDF link down below. There's also a free bonus by the end of it. And the only thing I'll ask you for today is to just write down in the comments which topics would you like to see more on this channel next, because it was basically my first video. And I just hope you you got some value and some interesting things from this and something you could be implementing and using. So yeah, thank you so much, guys. More value soon. Thank you and see ya.